What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Tez Talks. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's just me, no guests, no co-hosts, just a one-on-one conversation between me and you. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about my journey, how I got into streaming and content creating, how all of this started, and what it's really like behind the scenes of social media. So I figured, why not sit down, open up, and give you guys a raw and honest Q&A. We'll talk about where it all began, the highs, the lows, the lessons I've learned along the way, and what keeps me going. And if you've ever wondered what pushed me to chase this path, or what it really takes to build something from nothing, this episode is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. This is Tez Talks, the solo edition, and it's time for me to tell my story. So I uploaded some questions on Instagram for you guys to, ask me and stuff like that. So this podcast is going to be very chill. We're just going to do a bit of a Q&A and I'm going to answer some of your questions. And every 4 or 5 episodes, I think it'll be good to do this to get some, case studies, questions. There's a lot of questions about relationships, some personal stuff, faith, masculinity, social media, the world. So we're going to deep dive into it. Alrighty, so first thing is, people that ask me, is your name actually Tez? And no, my name's not Tez. It's not my government name. My actual name is Eleftheri, which is Greek. And the way I got Tez was my brothers just nicknamed me one day Tez. So I pretty much just, kind of ran with it. In school, people didn't really know how to pronounce my name. So it was just easier to call me Tez. So, are you single? Yes, I'm single. I'm not in a relationship. I haven't been in a relationship for 3 years, actually. So I'm single as it comes. I'm just focused on me, actually. Focused on me. I'm in a relationship with God. What first inspired you to start live streaming and creating content? Funnily enough, so I'll paint the picture for you guys. I actually went to university. I went to RMIT University and I graduated in 2018, I believe, or 2020. I can't remember. It's been a minute. I got my bachelor degree in business and information systems. I worked for some big companies doing project management, but I was also doing health and fitness on the side because health and fitness was more my passion. I kind of did uni to just kind of make my parents happy and, obviously get some education behind me and get a good job. So I was very, very comfortable in what I was doing. I was doing online PT on the side. I was also PTing people in person because, as I said, health and fitness was my passion. How I got into content creating and streaming, I was always kind of posting content, and the way I was posting, that was me being creative. So everyone has their different ways of being creative. Some people do it through music or art or, cooking. For me, it's creating content, and I've always loved it. So I was creating health and fitness content, whether it was me training or, anything like that, anything to bring value to people. That was my biggest thing. I just wanted to bring value to people to inspire others because I also needed inspiration myself, and I, had a lot of others that I used for inspiration. So when I went through a very toxic relationship, after it, I used health and fitness and walking and training to overcome all of these issues. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I can help others, other men especially. I wanted to target men. I want to help other men, get out of this heartbreak mode and motivate them to get into the gym and to improve themselves and evolve. So I was posting training content, and it would have steps to be better, or 3 things that you need to do to get ripped for summer, or, 3 things that make you more of a masculine man. If you actually go to my first ever videos, you'll see these training videos. It's crazy. And then I thought, and I was posting on Instagram, 3,000, 4,000 views. I only had 1,000, 2,000 followers on Instagram. But then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to go on TikTok. And at that point, I thought TikTok is such a shit app. It's just for kids dancing and it was all just dancing, trends and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to do this shit. But one day I was like, stuff it. I'm trying to build my online PT business. So I'm going to do that. So I jumped on it And, it was getting like 2,000, 3,000 views, whatever. And then I see these guys on my FYP and they're, creating quotes and captions of relationships and toxic relationships and relatable primarily to women. And they were getting like 10 million views. And you know how they're just posing in the camera, like similar to the content that I do now, posing in the camera, having a quote on the top. And they'll get like 5 to 10 million views. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. These people are not bringing any value, maybe a little bit of entertainment, but no real value to others. And they're getting like 5, 10 million views. Well, you know what? I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. So I posted my first TikTok video. It was pretty funny. It was a video of me looking down at the camera. The caption was, when her following goes up by 1. Looking down at the camera on the beat of the song, I look up and my eyes turn red to say that I'm angry that her following went up by 1. And then it hit 700,000 views. And I was like, whoa. I was like, wait, so people want to see this? I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to run with it. So then I guess that's how Toxic Tez was born. And then I just kind of kept doing similar content, voiceovers of songs that, had some sort of relatable meaning. So I just kept kind of running with it. Within a month, I had 100,000 followers and 5 million views. 5 million likes and 100,000 followers within the first month of me posting. This was 3.5 years ago on TikTok. And I kind of just ran with it. Obviously, I linked my Instagram to my TikTok and I was posting those videos on Instagram, and that's how it just blew up. I hit the algorithm and went crazy. After that, so after I hit 100,000 followers, I had a base, I had a following. I had a niche and I had a target market, which is obviously primarily females because of my content. So then, I'm like, stuff it. I want to hit the live button. I always wanted to go live, but I was kind of shy. I was a very shy kid when I was younger. Hit the live button, and then I kind of just had my friends in there. After that, every day I was just going live, having a laugh. I didn't know that, you could make income from it. And then slowly, I just kept going live. And then it became a source of income because I started to go live. I started to battle. I started to interact with other streamers, and I got a name for myself. And that's pretty much how it started. And now to this day, I was actually given the award of being the top live streamer in Australia in 2023 on TikTok. And now, I do TikTok and I do Favorited, which is an American app. I post content on Instagram, TikTok. And yeah, that's sort of how it all started, I guess. What was your very first stream like? Honestly, it was just with my friends and we're just talking shit and we'd have a laugh. It was honestly very, very casual, and it would just be something that we'd do at night. So everyone would do their kind of day jobs, and then at night till like 2, 3 in the morning, we'd just be talking about stuff, life, relationships, stories, like just having a laugh. And I still have a couple of those friends to this day that still remember me from 3.5 years ago where, I was kind of nobody. How did you come up with the name Toxic Tez, and what does it mean to you? How did I come up with the name? I think someone else actually gave me the name. In one of my comments of my videos, someone said, "You're so toxic," or something like that. And then someone else wrote Toxic Tez, and I was like, you know what? TT, it kind of rolls off the tongue well. But some people ask, are you actually toxic? Or like, is that just who you are? And I'm like, listen, what value are we gonna bring to the world and community if we're toxic every single minute of the day? The reason what Toxic Tez means to me is I'm able to zone in to a certain persona and character for a split second, or when it's needed to come out, because I feel like everyone has a bit of toxic in them. Doesn't mean it's a good thing, but we all have that within us. And it doesn't mean that we should be that person all the time. But if someone is going to bring that out of us, then we're going to give it to them. And that's pretty much, and that's why, some people, we're all very good people, but we all have that little bit of a demon or toxic side, to spice things up a bit. Your spicy side, I guess. What moment made you realize you could actually make a career out of this? When my following just went crazy, like it went absolutely mental. I told you, within the first 1 to 3 months, it was absolutely insane, like growing 5 to 10,000 followers a week just from my content. And the comments were very positive. everything's been very positive. Even the people that come up to me when they notice me, it's always been positive. I've never had anyone negative that's come up to me and tried to talk shit or anything like that. The messages that I get on a daily basis saying that I've helped them or I've made their day through making them laugh or entertain them. And obviously, through my content and live stream, I realized that I've made an income. I left my day job to focus on social media, not just purely live streaming itself, but a bracket and to create a brand, not only be known for one thing, but known for many things, known for creating content, known for going live, known for working with brands, and collaborating with different people. So what I want to be known for is many things, not just one thing, and obviously I want to have a good image. How did your community, the Toxic Fam, come together? So I have a community of about 600 to 700 people in my Discord channel, which is a communication platform. So we have all of our viewers and supporters, everyone's in there. And basically, how did we all come together is through my live stream and through my content. So people like my videos, they like the person that I am, they see my online persona, which is obviously authentically myself and me being genuine, but also we're all a bunch of people who like to have a laugh, like to have fun, sometimes not take life too seriously, get a bit spicy and a bit toxic. And, when we're having a bad day, my live streams and my content are an outlet for these people who are dealing with mental health issues and, and other things as well. And I'm blessed to have these people in my life because they honestly changed my life. And I've made a lot of amazing friends and networking, and they're very amazing people. And this is a big shout out to my Toxic Fam because I love you guys. They honestly changed my life. What was your biggest I made it moment so far? In terms of purely just social media, my biggest I made it moment so far was being the #1 live streamer in 2023 on TikTok, and getting my first #1 weekly. So on TikTok, basically, whoever gets the most, gifts in the week, which is donations and support, gets a certain accolade saying that they're the best streamer for that week in Australia. We got 10 of those, 10 weeks of top 1 on random weeks, obviously throughout the year. But the first one really hit home to me because it showed me how much people love to support me and love the person that I am. And it was 7 days of literally 12 hours a day of streaming. And I was going live with other people. I was going live by myself. I was sleeping on live. It was just unreal. It was just an unreal experience. But that was my I made it moment because I put so much effort into my streaming because it's my passion. I love making people happy. I love interacting with people. And what sets me apart with my live streaming is I engage with the audience. I make sure that I'm always acknowledging every single person in my chat, where even if they're not gifting, I want to make sure that I acknowledge every single person because I know that, I'm just that type of guy. I don't like to miss anything. I'm not an egotistical person. I like to make sure everyone is acknowledged. I like to make sure I know everything about everyone. I try to learn different languages to make sure that I can interact with everyone all around the world. And I don't speak fluent in every single language, just Greek, obviously, but I know if I can say a little bit in every language, then I can relate to them somehow. How do you deal with burnout or pressure from streaming constantly? Well, I dealt with it. I had a lot of moments where I was burnt out and a lot of pressure, because the pressure for me is if I go live, I know I'm going to make someone happy. If I don't go live, then someone is relying on me for their happiness or their entertainment or their laughs. So there was the pressure in that, but pressure makes diamonds, So I don't really feel the pressure. I know everyone's pretty understanding about everything, and I don't really feel any pressure, you know what I mean? Because it was all just fun for me. It wasn't anything too serious. It was just I love doing this. Doesn't feel like a job. It's just fun, Some people go on live for the wrong reasons. They do it just for purely financial benefit. But if you actually love what you do, then you're not gonna feel pressure. You're gonna actually want to go live every single day. You're gonna want to enjoy it. But the burnout aspect of it, I was going live for the first year for 10 to 12 hours a day. And it actually impacted my life badly because, I obviously have a big American following. So I'd go live at 8 p.m. and I wouldn't finish till 5, 6 in the morning. and then wake up at 3 p.m. And doing that for so long has an impact on your health and your well-being. I was ordering McDonald's at like 2, 3 a.m. to eat because I haven't eaten all day, and then waking up at 4 p.m. Like it's an ugly lifestyle. But the thing is that you have to do these type of things to then obviously create a name for yourself and to obviously make yourself a bigger streamer. You have to do those, what I call demon hours. Can I do that now? I can't, but I had to be unbalanced for a while because now I'm at a point where I can go live for 4 hours a day, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night, and still do very well. So I'm blessed. What separates Tez from other creators in your space? Well, the other thing that I mentioned, I'm very interactive with my audience, and that's massive. If you're interactive and engaging, you're able to provide entertainment and not be boring and not be on your phone and stuff like that, then you're going to be a good streamer. You have to make sure that you're able to interact, you're able to know how to speak, you're able to know how to engage an audience. Then that's how you succeed. Another thing, what sets me apart is a lot of people in my space do one or the other. They're either live streamers or content creators. Rarely, there's a small percentage that do both, but especially in Australia, they do one or the other. And so for me, my point of difference was I do content and I do live streaming. So I was doing both. So people were finding my live streams through my content. So that was something that was massive. Another thing is I go above and beyond for my community. I was always making sure that I was communicating with them, making sure that they know that I care about them as much as they care about me. A lot of people, separate their private life from their online persona life, which is understandable because you do need a bit of privacy. But I was making sure that people know who I am and know the person that I am. Because if you're a viewer, I had to look at this from a viewer's perspective. If you're watching someone and you want to support someone, you want to know who you're supporting. You want to know who you're watching. So I had to allow myself to be a little bit vulnerable and to allow my community into my life and meet my family and all that type of stuff to know that, I'm watching and supporting a good person that, and I want to support his growth. I want him to succeed. So I want to support him. You know what I mean? So that type of stuff. What's one thing people misunderstand about streaming or influencers? A lot of people think it's really easy. You're just sitting down and you got a phone and you're just looking at it and you're just talking. It's actually very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. There's different, every single thing that you do has its pros and cons. For a tradie or someone that does physical labor, well, it's physically demanding for them. Do they have to think much? Maybe not too much. Maybe it's not gonna be emotionally or do anything in that way. But for a streamer, yeah, it might not be physically demanding, but it can be mentally demanding because you're always having to put a smile on your face, whether you're happy or sad or whatever you're going through. You're gonna have to switch that off and be this energetic and exaggerated version of yourself to make people happy, to entertain, to bring energy to the stream, or else people are not gonna watch you if you're boring. So being a streamer and a content creator, people are relying on you for a feeling, you know what I mean? People are relying on you. You're like their TV show. You need to make sure like every day you're part of their program and you're part of their life. So the pressure there is to make sure that I'm bringing value to people and not get stagnant, because if things get stagnant, well, you have to find a way to evolve. So for me, I can't switch off. I'm always wired 24 hours. I can't go on a holiday, sit on a beach and just switch off. I can't do that anymore. That's done. That is finished. My mind is constantly in overdrive. I'm thinking, what is my next piece of content going to be? What can I look at on Instagram? What's trending? What music is trending? What kind of skits are trending? How can I take inspiration from this creator and create and do something different and twist it to make it my own? So I'm constantly like soaking up content and inspiration from everything I do in life, and I'm trying to relate it to me and how it's going to bring value to me and my community. How do you balance entertainment, authenticity, and mental health? So when you're authentically yourself, you don't need to. So I don't I'm not a faker. I'm not being fake when I'm on social media, or when I'm creating content. Okay. So for me, the things that I post is because it makes me laugh. So I'm actually posting it because it's funny. Sometimes I post pretty like outlandish stuff, and sometimes, yeah, maybe it's a little bit exaggerated, but I'm not being fake, and I'm not being myself. I'm being myself. Because I like to have a laugh. There's times where I like to be serious, and you'll see in my content, there's times where I'm talking and I'm being serious, and there's times where I'm having a laugh and, doing something just because I found it funny or I like the content, you know what I mean? So I try to mix it up, and I just do what I like to do. And the people, when you're yourself, people are gonna love and hate you. I know that there's people that hate me. There's many people that hate me, but there's also a lot of people that love me and love what I do. Some people are gonna think I'm cringe, and maybe sometimes the videos are cringe, but you gotta do you just gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta have some fun with it. So when you're having fun with it, you don't really care about what's going on around you. So I'm just having fun with it. That's it. What's been your proudest moment on stream? As I said, getting my number 1 on TikTok the first ever time, that was the proudest moment for me. Having meetings with TikTok headquarters itself and being involved with all of that was amazing. So that was a very good experience. Meeting amazing people online that know more about me than people who have known me for 10 to 20 years. These friendships that I've made with my community, they know me better than people that I've known all my life. So I literally spend more time with them than at the start, I was spending more time with them than my own family and friends. So they know the type of person I am. They know I'm a good person. So sometimes there are going to be rumors and people talking shit about me and stuff, but the real ones know, real recognize real. So when they've been watching me for so long, for 3 years, and they've seen me grow, they know who I am and what I'm about, and what my boundaries are and what I don't like. So yeah. Who or what motivates you to keep pushing even on your off days? Well, for me, the biggest thing for me is I'm disciplined. For me, motivation is a spark. As a man, discipline is everything for me. I know this is what I got to do today. Whether I feel good or feel bad, it's getting done. Motivation could be a little video or a reflection of a past achievement, and that might spark and that might get me up. But what makes me do all the actions is I know I've got to do this to succeed. I know I'm going to have off days, but guess what? If I get this done, I'm going to look back and know that I got it done in this moment. And all of those off days, I could have 50 off days or 20 off days a year, but guess what? 20 or 50 off days and you still getting it done can have a major impact within your progress. That could be the difference between succeeding and not succeeding in what you do. So honestly, just get it done. Sometimes I'm just a shell. I've mentioned in my podcast before, sometimes you're going to be a robot and a shell and have zero emotion, have a shit feeling, but you just get it done regardless of how you feel. And you're going to thank yourself later. What's one piece of advice you'd give to new creators starting out today? My personal advice would be to find your niche and find your target. What's your passion? Is it health and fitness? Is it makeup? Is it music? Find your target, go all in on one thing. Don't be the type of creator who does 5 different things on one profile. TikTok and Instagram, in the Instagram algorithm, they want you to focus on one thing. Okay? This is what I've realized, because when I post different content on my accounts, it doesn't do as well because it knows that my audience are here for one thing. So once you establish your audience, or once you've figured out what you want to do, go all out on it. Sometimes you're going to have to trial and error and see what does well, what doesn't do well. Go all out on the stuff that does well. If you want to do makeup, do makeup. If you want to do music, do music. If you want to do cooking videos, focus on cooking videos. Don't do cooking videos and then do totally something different. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Focus on one thing. If you love it, do it. And be yourself, As I said, people are going to love you and people are going to hate you, but that's okay, because the real ones will stay and you'll be able to filter out all the bullshit, because the fake ones won't be around you, You will gain an audience of people that love you if you are yourself. Don't be fake. A lot of people are fake these days. In a world of fakeness, you'll stand out by being authentic. Another thing is try to collaborate with people who are like-minded, always be careful of the people that you bring into your life. Your image is everything. If you have a bad image from the get-go, it's not going to end well for you. You need to have a clean and good image because that is your brand. You want to be marketable. The biggest thing for you as a content creator is to be marketable so you can work with brands. This creates opportunity for you. And make sure you are on every single social media platform, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anything you can get your hands on, because that extra viewer or extra 2 people or that share can reach a whole another audience. So make sure you're on every single social media platform. But depending on what you want to do, make sure your content is meaningful. Make sure there's a bit of humor. See what works out for you. Sometimes people just want serious content, and that's fine. You'll have a serious audience. But other people like a bit of humor because, there's so much shit going on in the world. There's so many, sometimes people want an outlet. For me, social media is an outlet because we're dealing with so many things in our life, and we go on social media to escape. So it's an escape for us. Sometimes people want to escape by having a laugh and having some fun. I know when I'm upset or I'm feeling down, I like to go on a certain people's profile and have a laugh at their videos, and it makes me feel good. So everyone's different. Find your niche. If you weren't streaming, what do you think you'd be doing right now? I think I still would be doing my day job, to be honest, which was project management. I was an IT project manager, which is a very good job, mind you. And I would be building up my online fitness company, and maybe I'll bring that back. But at the moment, I'm not at the moment, but maybe one day. So I was just building that. So I was just doing the two, working my 9 to 5, and then my 5 to 9 was my online fitness platform. So I'd probably be doing that at the moment. What are your long-term goals for Tez Talks and your brand? Well, honestly, my goals are to continue to travel and to bring amazing guests on Tez Talks. And within, 7 or 8 episodes, it's grown so much. I want to continue to bring guests who, bring value, that not just necessarily that have a high following, but people that are interesting to me and people who are interesting to the world and people that are influential and have good things to say or have bad things to say too, because, a bit of controversy isn't so bad. It sparks conversation, it sparks convos in the comment section. So I want to continue to build Tez Talks and bring guests and travel. Obviously, I did some Tez Talks in Miami. I've done one in Sydney. I'm in Melbourne. I want to do some all around Australia. When I go to America, I want to reach out to some of the people in America that I know and get them on, or Dubai, or anywhere in the world. Travel and continue creating content, because honestly, this is a hobby for me at the moment. Like, I love doing this. I'm doing this pure out of passion and to evolve as well, because I do obviously you guys see my Toxic Tez content, but this is more meaningful and this brings out a different side to me. And I love expressing myself in this way. Sometimes this is actually therapy for people. So I've had a lot of good feedback. A lot of people that have come up to me have actually known me for my Tez Talks podcast rather than my Toxic Tez brand, which has 330,000 followers. Tez Talks only has 5,000, but I'm getting a lot of people giving me good feedback about that. So if I can bring value in different ways, then that's amazing. So that's for Tez. That's for Tez Talks. For my brand, Toxic Tez, you've probably seen in my recent content, it's kind of changed a bit. I like to make it a little bit more talkative than me speaking. But honestly, just continue to create content, build on it. My long-term goal is to have obviously to hit a million followers, and just to create opportunities for me. Working with different brands and collaborating with different people, open doors. So I don't know what that looks like at the moment, but I'm just going to keep doing my thing, and whatever doors are open for me and what's meant for me will come. But I want to keep doing different things. Live streaming is one thing I do, but there's different things I do in the bracket. I don't just do one thing. I want to do many things. Many things. I've already mastered live streaming. I've conquered being live on TikTok and stuff. So I want to chase new ambitions as well. I still love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to still do it. I also stream on Favorited, which is an American app that I also stream on. So I do that too. But I want new challenges. I like to challenge myself and do things that are hard. Start YouTube, do daily vlogs while I'm traveling. while I'm doing TED Talks. So stuff like that. And obviously that's going to open doors and hopefully I can meet the right people and network with the right people and, we can benefit from each other and bring value to each other. So getting out of my comfort zone is the biggest thing for me. So the next one is, how do you stay grounded with everything going on in your life? Faith. Faith is everything. What keeps me grounded is believing in Jesus Christ and God, because He's what humbles me, Being with my family grounds me, But the biggest thing that grounds me is having faith, because I'm humble enough to know that I could lose everything in a second, But I also am humble enough, but I'm also confident enough to know that I could get it all back, And it's happened before. But having faith in God is what grounds me and makes me a good person. No matter how successful I am in life, I always know that I want to live in the footsteps of Jesus and be the best person I can be and be respectful and not fuck anyone over, because I believe in karma and I believe in what goes around comes around. And when you're a good person, good things come to you. And you might not feel that for 3 months or 6 months or a year, but guess what? It's always going to come back to you. And even if you do shitty things to people and you try to fuck people over and be disrespectful and be, unkind and stuff, that's all going to come back to you some way or another. So that fear of God, I'm a God-fearing man. When you have that, it keeps you humble. What's a lesson that completely changed your perspective on life? Well, maybe not a lesson, but a situation. So maybe like a toxic relationship changed my life, because I felt like I was trying to be the perfect person or trying to be the perfect boyfriend. And as I said, I've been single for 3 years, but I tried to be the perfect person and I tried to be the perfect boyfriend. And when I started being myself, the person didn't like that, because it's like, who's this? You've changed. But no, I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. And when I was a lot younger, in my early 20s, say 21, 22, I was a people pleaser. I just wanted to make people happy. I just wanted everyone around me to be happy. But as I got older, I said, fuck this. I'm just going to be me. And you know what? Yeah, I do want people to be happy and I am respectful, but I don't care what people think of me. If you don't like it, then that's your problem. The real ones are going to stick with me. I'm on a journey. I'm on a train. Okay. If you want to join that journey, if you want to jump on the train, feel free to. If you want to get off at the next possible station, then see you later. That's how my life goes. What does success mean to you personally? Success to me is being rich in happiness, being rich in faith, being rich in finance, being rich in health, and having good people around me. So if all of those pillars, so don't get me wrong, being successful, yeah, financially is amazing, because we all want to be financially successful, because that's what, obviously makes life easier. But there's many things that go with that. Health, wealth, happiness, faith, and love. Those 5 things. If I have those 5 things, I'm successful in life. And that's what I guess everyone should aspire to have. What's one failure or mistake that taught you something important? I can't think of one specific thing that I've failed in or made a mistake in. Obviously, I've failed in life and made mistakes, but for me, I'm going to fuck up and everyone's going to make mistakes. But guess what? It's a lesson, okay? As long as you acknowledge it as a lesson, then you're going to learn from it, and then you're going to make sure that when you come up against that situation again, you're going to do the right thing, I've made many mistakes, and, we're not perfect. We've sinned. But as long as you learn from it and not continuously make the same mistake, then you're on the good path. You're on the right path. How do you deal with self-doubt or hate online? So to be on social media, just need thick skin, honestly. Like, I just laugh or I just don't take notice of it, because they want a reaction out of you. If you give them a reaction, they're starving for it. That's what makes them happy. So I actually don't care. Sometimes I actually make them laugh or say something else, and then they're like, oh, this guy's actually all right. You know what I mean? So I get hate all the time, especially primarily from men, because of my content, because it's targeted towards females. I'm a man's man. I'm masculine. I know what a good man is and what a bad man is, you know? So if you're a guy and you're insecure about my content because your girlfriend is sending you my content, grow some balls. Literally, that's it. You know? Let's see. What else is there? What keeps me disciplined every day? Knowing that I have a long-term goal and what I have an idea of what I want my life to be. That's what gives me my discipline, because I know I have a long-term goal. I know what I want in life. When you know what you want, when you've sat down, reflected, and realized what your goals are and what your ambitions are in life, then you're gonna live every day chasing that. And that's what I've done. I've taken the time out to reflect, to know, okay, this is my long-term goal in life, or these are my different types of goals. What do I need to do to get there? This, and this, and this. Okay, so regardless of how I feel, this is what I need to do in order to achieve that. Who are the most influential people in your life? I guess my family and friends, my close family and friends. Obviously, I don't have many friends. Like in this world, I probably have 2 or 3 close, say boys, like my boys, you know what I mean? 2 or 3 that I really, really trust and, you know, have my back. But I know a lot of people and I'm respectful and have a lot of acquaintances and a lot of, hey, how are you, this and that. But friends that I trust or go to for advice, or they come to me for advice, or I run things by, yeah, probably 2 or 3. That's it. And that's all I need. I just want a close circle. I don't need fakeness. When I was young, I wanted a million friends. I wanted all of my friends. When you get older, that all closes up, because you just want real ones around you. You want people who are going to tell you when you fuck up or when you're not doing the right thing. Hey, bro, pull your head in. You know what I mean? What are you doing? You need those people in your life, or people to tell you, bro, this is actually fucking awesome. Like, good on you. Keep doing this. You need people. You don't need yes men. You don't need yes men in your life. People that are going to tell you, yeah, you're amazing, and just compliment you all the time. You don't need those people. You need people who are going to tell you how it is and be genuine. What's one daily routine or ritual that helps you stay focused? Making my bed every day. Making my bed completes me. And they do that in the army. And I feel like when you make your bed every day, I know it sounds very cliche, but making your bed and having a clean environment, making sure I represent myself well, I look good, I smell good, you wake up, brush your teeth, do your hair, make sure you represent yourself well, because guess what? Your image is what people like. Obviously, your image is everything. You know, for me, especially in social media, the way I look determines my success, or determines what opportunities I can get and what networks. I could meet someone that changes my life today, and if I don't look good, then that's an opportunity passed. You know, so wake up, make sure you represent yourself well and you look good, and look the best you can. You know, not in an egotistical way, but in a confidence way. Because if you look good, you feel good, and everything in your life is going to go much more smoother. How do you separate Tez the brand and Tez the person? Well, nothing really, because obviously I'm being authentic. I'm myself, right? Sometimes my content, yeah, okay, like it can be a bit, how you going? But I don't need to really separate myself, because I am myself and myself is the brand, you know? I'm not a bad person, so I don't need to pretend to be someone else. I'm myself, you know? The people that know me know who I am. On social media, yeah, I'm energetic and exaggerated, and people don't see the chill. I'm actually a very chilled person, but obviously on social media, I like to be very energetic and a bit crazy and, you know, stuff like that. So I do have that in me, that is that part of me, but am I like that 100% of the time? No, I'm actually a very chill person. So there's not much that separates, you know? That's pretty much it. Just me being more energetic, and I have a lot of caffeine, so that helps. Alrighty. What's your take on modern relationships and dating culture? I think that it's very hard to date in this. It's very hard to date in this world. It's very hard to find good people, whether it's partners or. It's very hard to find good people, as in partners, friends, because people only want you for one thing. People are scared to commit to someone. They are scared of commitment. They're scared of putting their feelings out on the table, and they're always chasing the next best thing. So I feel like in 2025, social media has very amazing things, but also it's a way for people to compare themselves to others or other relationships. And that is a detriment to them because you're only seeing what they want you to see. So I think it's hard to find good people. It's hard to find be in good relationships that last because people change. And once you come up against an argument or an issue, people like to give up. They don't like to work at it. You know, I've seen there's sometimes people together for 20 years. And as soon as, sometimes they it's crazy to me to divorce or to break up with someone after being with them for 20 years. I feel like you need to evolve together because people change in relationships and marriages, and that's fine. You're going to change sometimes, and I hope for the better because you need to change for the better. You need to continue to be a better person of yourself. I keep finding that sometimes people get to a certain point where they're chasing someone and they're willing to be their best selves, and once they have them, they pull back and they think, oh, I've got that person now. I don't need to act like this anymore. They're not going anywhere. And then the other person wants to evolve and get better and change, and the other person is pulling them down, and it creates conflict and it doesn't work out. It's not going to work out. You need to be on the same level. You need to be bettering each other, You need to be helping each other get better in all aspects of life. Your health, your fitness, your career, being a man, being a woman, being feminine, being masculine, As long as you're leveling up. How do you define loyalty in a relationship? Having eyes for one person, being loving to one person, because cheating can be emotionally and physically. It's not just physical, it can be emotionally too. It can be liking a girl's photo. To me, that's a form of cheating. I know it's bad. Why like another girl's photo when you're in a relationship? I don't understand, or married. Like, I can't hack it, you know what I mean? And some guys might listen to this and be like, bro, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but it's a principle. Like, why? What's the point in that? You know what I mean? So there's different types of cheating, and being loyal to one person is rare these days, unfortunately. But it's everything. And for me, loyalty is everything. I need loyalty in my life, whether it's from friends, or it's from a girl. I need loyalty. I have to, because I'm a loyal person. If I've got eyes on you, don't worry about the eyes on me because my eyes are on you, type thing. What are some red flags that people ignore too often? I don't know if they ignore it, but just some red flags to me is, disrespect. The first one to me is disrespect. If I'm meeting someone for the first time and I sense disrespect, they're done. I can't do it. I've dealt with it before, and it's because I've been a nice person back in when I was young. I was a very nice person. I was very naive. I was innocent. So I didn't have the boundary. So I allowed people to speak to me in a certain way. Now, no chance. I will not. I don't tolerate bullshit. So if you're going to disrespect me, see you later. That's it. Another thing is being friends with an ex. Why do you need to be friends with an ex? Like, close the chapter. Unless you have kids, and obviously they're the father of your kids. That's a different story. But if you're just a girl who's had a failed relationship and you're trying to move on and try find a new person to be with, and you're still clinging on to and hanging by a thread of this previous relationship, you're wrong. And stay away from that. Whether you're a guy or girl, whether you're a man or woman, stay away from that shit. Close the chapter and move on. I always say to myself, when you break up with someone, there's going to be a 2 or 3 month cooling off period, right? So, you might get back together, you're sleeping together, you're not sure where you are, there's no clarity, blah, blah, blah. You might get back together, blah, blah. Okay, so if they've gotten with someone in that 2-3 month period, it's done, it's finished. If you pass that period, then close the chapter. That's it. If you don't get back together, because sometimes you need to break up to realize what you've done and reflect to get back together. Sometimes it can happen. But yeah, I guess for me, those are red flags. Having too many guy friends. I know guys' intentions. So I'm a guy myself. I've been through it. I've tried to be friends with a girl, but I've actually liked her, and I wanted her to break up with her boyfriend. So I was friends with her. I know how guys think. Can men and women truly be friends without feelings getting involved? I think very rare. 99% no, 1% yes. But for me, Why do you need a guy best friend if you have a boyfriend? He should be your best friend. For me, if I'm with a girl, I don't have girlfriends. You're my girl best friend. You're the girl that I spend all my time and energy on. I'm gonna have acquaintances and have girls that I know from my life and say hello and how are you and introduce you. But I'm not going to actively go on coffee dates with girls or talk to them or call them when I have girlfriend problems. No. Why do that? I know there's so many girls that talk to guys about their boyfriend problems. That's the worst thing you can do. Why would you do that? So then another guy can tell you, yeah, break up with him because he actually wants you. Come on, man. How do you know when it's time to walk away from someone? I always said this, and I've dealt with this before because I find it really hard to walk away because I hate giving up. I hate failing, even though it's necessary. I hate failing. So for me, when you spend so much energy and time and emotion on someone, it's all you know. So for me, when it's time to walk away, I say to myself, as soon as it starts to hurt my mental health and it starts to affect me mentally and my mental health, I need to leave. I can't allow another human to cause me to give me depression or give me anxiety or to make me feel a certain way. I will be with that person no matter what, no matter how much it hurts. But as soon as I start to feel like this is affecting me and this is actually ruining my life and my relationships and everything around me, I gotta go. I gotta leave. I've got to draw the line in the sand and I have to leave. What's the difference between love and attachment in your opinion? Let's say love and lust. Love is the pinnacle feeling that you have for someone. It means that you have this feeling in your soul. Lust is a surface level feeling. It's something that it's sparked initially, whereas love is something that is built and that is gradually built over time and that is in your soul. You can't love someone on the first time. You can have lust for someone on the first time because of the way they look or the way they've spoken to you. But to love someone is the pinnacle feeling of, just being with someone for a long time or, someone that's been good to you. And it's just the ultimate feeling, I guess. What makes a strong and healthy relationship? Communication, loyalty, communication, loyalty, respect, and having Jesus and God at the center of your relationship. For me, those are the massive things, okay? When you have loyalty, obviously you're loyal to one another. You have eyes for each other. When you communicate, you can get through any issues because with respect, you can speak to each other and not verbally abuse each other when you come across an issue. You can talk, you can solve it together. And when you have Christ in the center of your relationship, he will make sure that you guys succeed. Because when you have similar morals and values religiously, then you will want to work it out because you won't have those bad intentions or all those bad thoughts. You know what I mean? When you go to church together, when you pray together, when you have faith together, and Jesus is the center of your relationship, then you will succeed. How has your faith shaped who you are today? I've always been faithful since being young, and there's been times like obviously during COVID we couldn't go to church and that, so I kind of went away a bit for a couple of years, and this year it was just a feeling that I had while I was overseas that I needed to reconnect with my faith. Not saying that I kind of disconnected, but I just kind of needed to, go to church every week again and pray and, be a better person in all aspects of life. How do you keep your peace when people test your patience? Obviously, sometimes you got to be confrontational, and that's something I've learned being older now. Now I'm very direct and confrontational. Whereas when I was young, I didn't like to be confrontational because I didn't want to cause issues. Whereas now, when there's something that's on my mind or that's playing up in my mind or my heart, I need to let it out, and I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to be fake about it. This is what's troubling me. How can we solve this? I'm going to be honest. This is what I'm feeling. What are we going to do about it? How can we solve it? I've always want a solution. I always want to resolve things. It's not like this, and this, and that's it. No, it's this, and this. Okay, let's fix it now. That's it. Do you believe people can change in relationships? Yeah, as I said, people do change and people can change, but hopefully for the better. Um, as I mentioned before, you don't want it to be stagnant. You want to evolve. It doesn't mean you have to do something every single day and every week, but over time, you want to reflect and look back and think, I'm a better person, or I'm much more successful, or I'm, doing better in life compared to 2 years ago or 1 year ago, or I look better, or stuff like that. So yeah, people can change, but I hope it's for the better. You don't want it to be for the worse. You don't want to be good and then go backwards. What's one non-negotiable for you when it comes to dating? One non-negotiable for me is respect. Like that is everything for me. That's one non-negotiable. And having faith in God, another non-negotiable, because I know that when you have faith in God, you also, and your morals and values align to mine, and I know we're going to get along because we're going to have similar thoughts on how we act. Do you believe social media ruins relationships or can strengthen them? I think both. It can ruin relationships, as I mentioned before, because you're comparing yourself to others. You have the access to talk to other people when you're not feeling like you're getting along with your partner. You can find out if people are cheating, and that's how it can ruin a relationship. But it can also strengthen because you can learn more. You can learn about someone's traits in a good way. You can learn from other people in social media and relationships. You can learn how to act as a better person. You can act as a better boyfriend. So it gives you tips and advice on how to be better or how to fix things within yourself and in a relationship. So there's good and bad content. It's just what you choose to soak up. How do you stay strong in your faith when things get tough? When things get tough, I just think that it's a test of patience. There's a quote that says, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. So whenever I'm going through something tough, I know that it's a test and that I'm only going through it because he's trying to test my character to see if I'm going to give up or or what I'm going to do. It's all a test. So my patience will never, or my faith will never be compromised just because I'm going through something. If anything, it'll be stronger because I'll want to get through it. And I know that I will. And you just have to tell yourself that you're going to get through it. That's all. Yeah, no problem. Okay. We'll do a couple more. So what does legacy mean to you? Legacy means to me that leaving something behind, and leaving something behind that people are going to remember, and leaving an impression that you have left a mark on someone, on everyone that you meet or everyone that has watched your content and videos. You have left a mark for the better. You have left knowing that this person that is better after talking to you or because of looked at your content. They have become a better person because of you, or you have inspired someone. It could be one person, but as long as you have that, and that's what I live by. As long as I can inspire one person or bring value or bring a smile to one person every single day, then I know that I've succeeded in life. What do you want people to remember Tez for? I want people to remember Tez for an entertaining, inspiring, faithful, positive person in life that sometimes doesn't take life too serious, but also has different sides to himself, has a motivational and ambitious side, a funny and humorous side, a serious side. So I want people to remember me for being a respectful and good person in this world that has tried to bring value to not only himself, but also the community, and to give back, someone that has given back, someone that has tried to give back to the less fortunate, or someone that has tried to bring a smile to people's faces, someone that has donated to charity and tried to do charitable actions. So just, yeah, as I said before, just leaving an impact on someone, and people. And lastly, 3 things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my health, and I'm grateful for my community. And that's pretty much it for our Q&A. I feel like that went so fast. That was 1 hour. Guys, I wanted to say a massive thank you for all the love and support that you show on the Tez Talks page. Make sure you're following us on YouTube, Spotify. I'm going to do these types of Q&A podcasts maybe every 4 or 5 episodes, because it's just a sit down and I get to answer some of your questions. And yeah, much love. Make sure you show some love on Spotify and YouTube and clips on TikTok. So yeah, take care and see you soon. Thank you.